What's up, boys? It's been a while since I got on here and made a video for you, but I just got back from a pretty cool agency event in Miami that I got some good lessons from, good stuff to share. So I figured I'd hop on here and make a video about it real quick. But an update since last video. I don't remember what I was at RevWise last video, but last month, just a couple days ago, I finished out the month at 40K revenue. Pretty cool. It was a goal I was trying to hit, and profit was like 32, something like that. Not bad. Other updates: hired one more person, media buyer. Other than that, pretty normal stuff. So for this video, I broke it up into two parts. First one is business lessons I learned while I was at the Steal My Agency event in Miami, put on by Nathan Bentley. He's a 150K per month agency owner. Cool dude. He also had a bunch of speakers there as well. But the first part of this video is going to be the business lessons I learned while I was there, and the second part is, if you guys want to stick around, it'll be like the personal lessons I learned, which I think are also pretty valuable. But we'll get the business stuff done first, and then you guys can stay and watch if you want to. But the first lesson I learned was from a speaker. His name was Christian Jamal. He has done 700K months with his agency, and the crazy thing is it's not that different than the traditional agency. Just a little bit of nuanced stuff there, but nothing too crazy different from us. And the first lesson was just don't be lazy and to be a better business owner. I know it's crazy, it's revolutionary, but sometimes you just need to be reminded more than you need to be told. And he hammered this home to even guys who were at 50, 60. It's all the same thing, and it kind of all rang true for a lot of us. I think sometimes we get complacent, we find a thing that's doing good, we're making money, and we say, I'm not going to really change much, I don't need to, right? But that is just kind of being a little bit lazy. So he gave me kind of reignited that fire for me, super helpful. The next lesson was from Mr. Nathan Bentley himself, and it was to spend time getting better at marketing, which, I own a marketing agency, and I don't even really spend that much time trying to get better at marketing, which is stupid. So I'm going to start reading more books on marketing, setting aside a couple hours every week to try to come up with new ideas, think of new strategies, new things I can implement for both myself and my clients to get better there. Because again, that kind of ties into being a lazy thing. I've just been slacking a bit. Third thing is that there's a million different ways to scale an agency. It doesn't have to be this exact same copy paste that almost everybody does. And this again kind of goes to Christian Jamal's stuff, because his agency is similar, meaning his services deliver, fulfillment is similar, but offers, structure, all that kind of stuff. He basically just showed us that there's not a wrong or right way to do something, but sometimes when you're just in the SMMA world, you don't really think about all the different things. You kind of just know this works and turn your brain off from there. But number 4, if your numbers are working, spend more on ads. Full stop. This one really was a tough one for me to swallow, because I've, for whatever reason, not wanted to spend a whole lot on ads, but my numbers are great. And when I mean numbers, I'm meaning LTV to CAC, cost per acquisition, sales velocity, churn rate, all that kind of stuff. If those are good, there's no reason that you shouldn't be just cranking ad spend as much as you can, because you don't know how long that's going to last for, so you might as well make the most of it while you have those good numbers and while it's working. So that's a good one for me. One of my favorite business lessons from the whole event was the simplest one, which was from Mr. Josh Rivera. It was speed and brute force wins. I really struggle with this one. I'm the type of guy who kind of likes to have a little bit more control on stuff, so I will wait, try and be a little bit more calculated, and try and plan everything out beforehand, which I should have learned my lesson by now. That's not the way it always works out. You kind of just got to do stuff, see what happens, and then adjust from there. So speed and brute force wins. I'm going to get that freaking tattooed on my arm or something. The other one from Josh was conviction and aggression are the most powerful sales traits. I've never heard this before, but it makes sense. I've heard the conviction one, but I've never heard the aggression. And for me in my sales calls, sometimes I can be a little bit like, I don't want to say soft, but like I can let people slide with stuff. And sometimes you kind of need the push and the pull of like, you got to be aggressive a little bit sometimes. And just, if you're confident in what you're selling, you have conviction in what you're selling, then the aggression doesn't really come off as aggression. It comes off as like passion and caring, I guess. So just something I need to work on a little bit more for myself. Let's see. So number 7 kind of ties into the speed and brute force thing, but number 7 is let stuff break and then fix it, being reactive versus proactive. Again, this is from Josh as well, but that one's pretty self-explanatory. You don't need to plan everything out in advance or try to plan everything out, because it's just impossible. You don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. So do stuff, see what happens, figure it out from there. 8, this is a freaking big one that I've never heard anybody else talk about, but don't be the guy who can only talk business. So quick story about this one. While we were at the event, I met a lot of super cool dudes. Like pretty much everybody there was awesome. But we had our speaking event. Josh did his stuff. All the other speakers, Nathan, Christian, everybody did their thing. And then Josh hit this one, dropped this one on all of us. And I think before he did this, I don't think anybody talked about anything other than business throughout the whole event. And when he did kind of drop this one on us, I thought back and I was like, man, he's right. If you can only talk about one thing, you are not a fun person to talk to. You're not gonna, nobody wants to be around like the square, right? And Josh Rivera and his friend David, who I ended up talking with a good bit, they told a story. They went out boxing. They were in Romania, wherever Tate lives, and they were hanging out with Tate for a while. And they're saying like, trying to talk to Tate about business is stupid because he's making millions of dollars a day, a month, or whatever. Like, if you don't have anything else to talk about other than business, that is the most boring conversation for Tate ever. So if you don't have hobbies, you don't have other stories, whatever, nobody's really going to want to hang around you a whole lot. And that was kind of evident at one of our dinners. I'm not going to pick on anybody, but I was sitting next to this guy who's a good bit ahead of me. Not agency wise, but like does some finance, does some other stuff. Dude's a millionaire for sure. And we were having a good conversation, talking about whatever we were talking about. I think it was travel or something. I don't know, but it wasn't business stuff. Vibing, chilling, cool dude. And then the guy next to us just kept like asking the dumbest stuff ever. Like, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pick on you, but he would ask like, all right, I want to get into private equity. How do I do it? And you could just see this guy's face, like I gotta do this while I'm at this dinner. It's supposed to be fun and hanging out. Like, I gotta talk about this stuff that the guy doesn't even know what he's asking. So just kind of be a little bit more well-rounded. Have stories, read books, have things to talk about. Because those high-level guys, they don't want to hear about our $50K a month agency problems. That's like kindergarten stuff. Figure out other things to talk about, be interesting. That one was a really big one for me that, again, I've never heard anybody else talk about. The last one was also from Josh. It was simple. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. Pretty self-explanatory. Some of the numbers that you see, like, people can have like 200, 300K months and they're taking home like 10%, which still, I mean, it's decent, but I don't know. Sometimes those flashy numbers, they don't really mean a whole lot. And even Josh, who had like a 250K month, I think was his best, was talking about that, how it's just like trying to show off competition, all that stuff. And then what really matters is what you get out of it, which is kind of the way I try to set up my agency. But anyways, there's a bunch of other business stuff that I learned from this event, from both students there, like SMA students, and then also a lot of the other coaches and stuff. But make this like an hour-long video, and I don't really want to do all that. So moving on to personal lessons. Number one, for the most part, people are kind and good. So quick story, I don't really do stuff like this. I don't really go out to do events. I definitely don't go out and like parties or clubs or anything really. Where I live right now, none of my friends live here. Nobody around me kind of knows any agency or business stuff. So it was kind of a new thing being in new town like Miami. Like that's a big change from where I'm at now. And also just meeting a lot of new people. I think I met more people this last, whatever it was, 3 days or so in Miami than I have probably in the last 2 years combined, which was just crazy. So I kind of forgot what it was like, just being in a new spot, meeting people, interacting with people. And people were generally good. Like, you see a lot of bad stuff going on in social media or news or whatever about the world, but like almost everybody I went up to, talked to, whether they were part of the event or just people I met in Miami, super cool, very nice. Like, I don't know, just kind of nothing to be scared about of going out and meeting new people. It's not that big of a deal. Number two, I kind of have a natural ability at talking to strangers or just new people. I didn't really know this. My friend Levi pointed it out to me, and looking back, I think he's probably right. I still get nervous like walking up, and we went to I didn't want to go, but we went to a club one night, and there was a bunch of strangers, like college kids and whatever, and I was still nervous to like go up and talk to people. But once I kind of got over the initial like fear, or whatever you want to call it, of going up and talking to them, I was pretty good at it, and I haven't had to do that in a long time. So that was pretty cool. I could really just walk up to anybody, talk to them for a little bit. Hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And also with like some of the coaches there, I was pretty good at talking to them just like normal people as well. Wasn't weird or shy or nervous about meeting some of these guys who I've seen their content or looked up to or anything like that, which was good. I think a lot of people kind of struggled with that, but I think I have some sort of natural ability for that, so that's cool. Personal lesson number three, kind of an abstract one, but I think it's cool. Number three is none of this stuff is real. Kind of weird, like trying to like be the Matrix stuff, but whatever. What I mean by that is, it's hard to explain. We were walking, we just finished going out to the club that night, and I had this thought that none of this stuff is real. And what kind of brought that on was these people and the fears that I had about going up and like, oh, I'm nervous, go talk to the stranger. That is not real. That fear, that thought, has no basis in reality whatsoever. One, you're never going to meet these people again. Two, it doesn't matter what they think because you don't know them. Who cares? Three, was not about people. It was about like money. Money is not real. People have said that before. I've always thought it was stupid, but it really doesn't, like, at least for me, yes, if you're like really struggling, money is super real to you. You can't pay your bills, you can't get food, whatever. That's very real. But if you got like 100 grand in the bank, money it's not real. Whatever you're doing, there doesn't really come a whole lot of value from it. And losing it doesn't really affect me. I don't have that much attachment to it. And gaining it, I don't really care either. Maybe I'm weird, I don't know. But yeah, those are the main things. Fears are not real in your head. What people think about you, not real. A lot of the people you're gonna meet, they're not real because you're never gonna see them again. Who cares? And then money is the other one. I feel like I lost a lot of you guys on that one, but whatever. This is for me, not for you. So who cares? Number four, the big G's at the event, and just I think ballers in general can kind of tell the humble from the proud. I don't want to get too deep on this one, but I think people can tell like how cool you think you are by the way you talk and also how much you talk. There were some agency guys there who were doing like decent numbers, like 20, whatever they're at, that just talked and acted like they were like just the best thing ever, you know? And you can't do that. You can't do that around people who are 2 years ahead of you, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month ahead of you. It doesn't work. They just look at that and think like, this guy has no idea what's possible. He has no humility, nothing. Where, as if for me at the event, I was a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved. I didn't really talk about myself unless somebody asked. And I think because of that, at least partially, a lot of the bigger guys like a Josh, his friend David, Eli, like some of the bigger guys there, they kind of are like, okay, this guy knows he's not God's gift to the world. He's like letting other people speak so you can learn from them. This one's hard to explain. I think they kind of just feel it, like it's a sense. Like the kid who's talking about himself thinks he's super cool. They're like, yeah, dude, I've seen a million of you before. Not impressed. But if you kind of are humble, you want to learn from these other people, and you're not talking about yourself or even trying to like brag to people who are way ahead of you, I don't know. It helps me kind of make those relationships and those connections a little bit easier. All right, what else we got? That was 4. We're on 5 now. All right, so even the millionaires and famous people that we met at the event, they're just people, and they should be treated just like people. Don't build them up in your head like anything other than you, because there's no difference. We met famous people. We met people who owned yachts. We met guys doing, again, $700K a month. There's no difference. They're just people. Kind of weird, mind-blowing stuff, but there's no reason to treat them any different than you would anybody else. They got the same problems we have. It's all the same. 6 is reciprocity is real. So reciprocity is like basically what you're giving out is kind of what you get back, is basically what that is, if you didn't know. And a simpler way of thinking is like, if you go first with what you want, if you're kind to somebody, they're going to be kind back to you. If you are generous to somebody, they're going to be generous back to you. If you care about what the other person's saying and you're actually listening and not just waiting for your turn to talk, they're going to listen to you and not wait for their turn to talk. All this kind of stuff. And again, this also helped me with any stranger, any interaction I had with somebody at the event, or just around Miami, whatever, because I went into it positive, smiling, friendly, whatever. Almost everybody like reciprocated that towards me. But if I would have went up to somebody and was like, you know, just rude or uncaring or just whatever, what do you think they're going to respond with? Like, so super simple one, but just, I mean, bro, we learned this in freaking kindergarten. Golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. That's a real thing. If you go up and you're nice to people, whatever, they're going to do the exact same thing back to you. 7, material stuff doesn't really do a whole lot for me. Don't need to go any more into that one. Number 8, there is value in being different or weird. So at this event, pretty much everybody there was like, at least the students were like 25 and under, I think was the oldest guy. And we're all making like a decent amount of money for the most part. So if you had to think about it, everybody at that event was uncommon compared to the rest of the people our age. But I was uncommon among the group of uncommon people. Not because I'm better or not because of anything like that. I was just different. Like almost everybody else had very similar goals. They had very similar reasons for doing what they're doing. I don't care about that stuff. And also I had my values and stuff were a little bit different. Like a lot of people wanted to drink or smoke cigars or go out and party or whatever, which I'm not here to say that's wrong or one way is better than anybody else's way. But I didn't have that. I have none of those things that I desire for any of those things. So I was kind of different. People could kind of tell I was a little bit different, I think. just by the things I do and the things I didn't do. And I think there's a value in that. People look at you and say like, oh, this guy's got something else going on. Let me learn more about this. Let me see what he's got going on. Or also they kind of just respect it a bit if like everybody else does this thing, but you're like, no, I'm good. This is what I like to do. I'm going to stick to that. People kind of respect that. At least the people who are worth knowing respect that. What else? 9, I found out I really like helping people, talking to some of the, agency guys there who are a little bit, starting out or needed help with stuff that I already figured out. I really liked helping them. I'm gonna skip that one. 11, this kind of goes back to like I have a kind of a natural ability to talk to people and make connections, but making friends is kind of easy. I had like a lot of anxiety about this before, especially when all my friends from college moved away and stuff. Or like I'm thinking about moving to a new city. But after this, bro, that's not real. It's, again, that's not real. Making friends is easy. Go up to people, be nice, talk to them, have conversations. Stuff's going to be fine. It's going to work out. Also helps if you are, the space you're meeting people in is like a shared value or something shared with that. Something you like to do, something everybody there likes to do. Makes it a little bit easier to start because you know you have something in common. Like all the people I met at this event that will probably become better friends, we all have something in common, which is definitely helpful. 12 is I need to go to more events like this. This was awesome. If you guys can do something like this and drop like a couple of $1,000, I think there's like all in all, I think I paid like $2,500 for ticket, flights, Airbnb, food, stuff. You should do it. I met a lot of really cool people here, learned a lot of really cool stuff, built some connections. It was just a fun time, and I don't even like this kind of stuff usually, so it's worth it. I got to do more stuff like this. You should too if you can. Those are my main things that I learned from the event. So you can follow me on Instagram and DM me if you want to talk about any of this stuff. I'll put my whatever in the description. And also on that Instagram, I'm going to start posting like a little bit more often, I think. Again, only when I have stuff that I think is actually valuable. I'm not going to post just to do it. But I'll throw up some stories on my story, I guess. If I'm figured anything out cool, or if I'm working through anything cool, or just anything that I feel like is worth sharing us on a day-to-day, I'm going to start throwing them up there a little bit more. So, that's it. Peace.